In the annals of championship volleyball, two teams have defined the best there is in the sport, the Huskers and the Nittany Lions, represented by a who's who of great players and Olympians alike, and guided by legendary coaches that have combined for 7 national titles. Nebraska and Penn State have set the standard for excellence. Now in 2011, Nebraska is sitting pretty as the #1 team in the land. But to stay atop, they need to do it on Coach Russ Rose's home turf. Tonight, these two Titans battle it out in the battle at Rec Hall. Winter has come early to Happy Valley, but inside Rec Hall, Nebraska and Penn State won't be slowed down by the weather. It's #1 Nebraska against #8 Penn State. Big Ten Network Women's Volleyball presented by Pure Silk. Hello everyone, I am Mike Wolf alongside former Ohio State All-American Audrey Flaw. And Audrey, these are the nights that bring coaches and players to the Big Ten, two iconic programs in collegiate women's volleyball. It should be another Big Ten classic.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to be here. It is going to be a wonderful match.
And of course for the Cornhuskers, they're undefeated in the Big Ten Conference so far this season. A big reason why, the play of Gina Mancuso.
Yeah, Gina Mancuso has been Nebraska's most reliable hitter. She was this week's Big Ten Player of the Week after posting a combined average of 4.1 kills, 3.3 digs, and 1 block per set in the Huskers' wins over Iowa and Illinois last week. So she is a standout player for the Huskers.
And for the Nittany Lions, a standout player in Ariel Scott. She stepped into a focal point role for this team. Of course, she came up with 20 kills against Iowa last night.
Yeah, she has been a standout player all year for Penn State, and she too was incredible when these two teams met in Nebraska. Scott got 23 kills and hit 36% and got 4 blocks. So Nebraska will be focused on trying to slow her down tonight.
Coming up, it's the first serve between Nebraska and Penn State, next on BTN. Big Ten Women's Volleyball is presented by Pure Silk Shave Cream. For legs like Pure Silk, try Pure Silk in 7 great fragrances.
I think getting a win in an environment that we're not used to or that isn't favorable to us would just show the trust our team has and how, you know, we're competitive and we're going to go in there and do what it takes to get the job done.
I think it's a great rivalry to have Nebraska in the Big Ten now. They're a great program with a great tradition.
Big Ten has a lot of really high-ranked teams, and I think that's really going to help us towards the end, you know, to get to the championship. So.
It's an October wonderland in State College, Pennsylvania, but things are heating up inside Rec Hall. Almost set to get underway between the Cornhuskers and the Nittany Lions. Going to be a tremendous matchup from University Park, Pennsylvania. Head coach for the Nebraska Cornhuskers is John Cook in his 12th season with the program. Of course, 2 national championships with Nebraska. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Tachikara. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, we talked about Gina Mancuso, but Morgan Brookheis has also been a standout for a hitter for Nebraska.
Yeah, and really the thing about Nebraska is their offense is so nicely spread out by all the hitters, both the outside and middles.
And old hat for Russ Rose, this kind of matchup, of course, in his 33rd season, 4 consecutive national titles and 5 overall. For Penn State, sponsored by Tachikara, the lineups for the Nittany Lions, Deja McClendon, another star for them. And of course, these two teams met once already this season. The Cornhuskers taking a 5-set victory in Lincoln, Nebraska. 19th meeting all time between these two. It was a battle the last 2 occasions. They've gone to 5 sets in the last 2 meetings. Really been Nebraska and UCLA, the only teams out there who have a winning record against Penn State in 10 matches, Audrey. We're in for another great one.
Yeah, it is going to be a real treat. We're going to see high-level volleyball. All elements of the game are going to be spectacular.
Underway in University Park, Pennsylvania, and Cook goes to Mancuso for the first kill.
Now Lauren Cook taking care of a tight pass, and she jump sets and pushes the ball all the way outside to her favorite outside hitter, and that's Gina Mancuso with a kill that went right between Penn State's blockers' hands.
Gina Mancuso, the two-time Big Ten Player of the Week, current reigning Big Ten Player of the Week, and a force on the outside for the Huskers. Looks to McClendon, who answers back for Penn State.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle of the pin hitters, and there you saw Deja McClendon accelerating, getting up so quick. And what I liked about that hit, it actually went high over top of the blocker's hands and deep in the corner. That's a key shot for McClendon tonight.
Good start for McClendon, who struggled in the early going of the Big Ten season. Flip to Mancuso again, off the Penn State block. And Nebraska on top 2-1. Audrey, give us a few keys to this one.
Yeah, for Nebraska, they really need to pass well, especially when Hancock gets back there to serve, because she's really good. And the other thing they need to do, if they pass well, when Nebraska spreads out their offense and 3 or 4 hitters are involved, they're pretty hard to stop.
Penn State's Hancock has to run it down. Brookheis off the touch of Penn State. McClendon again, she gets the kill. Audrey, to get back to some of the keys for the Nittany Lions.
Well, Penn State has to believe that they can win. They've kind of had some bumps along the road here in this first half of the Big Ten season, so they've got to play with confidence, and they have to know that they have what it takes to knock off this undefeated Nebraska team.
Russ Rose very unhappy with his team after last night. They combined for 29 errors between attack errors and service errors. They need to be better tonight. Clendon again tries to roll it over. Mancuso back up, and it falls down on the Nebraska side.
Well, just the slightest hesitation on defense will cause havoc, and that's exactly what happened to Nebraska. Here you see the ball trickles over, and she thought that the defense was going to come up and play the ball. She ends up stabbing on it. That's number 17, Haley Tramer.
Tramer now tries to get one back. Longo with the set to Scott. The touch goes off a diving hand of Worth, and the point to Penn State.
Now this is a real key for Penn State too. What do they do with balls that are out of system? They're going to put it high to this kid here, number 1, Ariel Scott. And if she can deliver kills like that, it will be a tough night for Nebraska.
Going to be a tough night with Micah Hancock back serving for the Nittany Lions. She's second in the nation in service aces.
She sure is, and she's got that top spin, that fastball that is also a curveball. And right now she went for Laura Dykstra, Nebraska's libero, who's typically their best passer.
Russ Rose has just told her to go back and rip it from the service line. She gets another ace, and Penn State on top, 6-2.
Yeah, you know what? If she gets into a rhythm, and Cook calls a timeout because she cannot get into a rhythm, Nebraska has got to find a way to slow her down.
Penn State on top. They're into it as their Nittany Lions are on top in set 1. Rec Hall is jumping as the Nittany Lions are on top 6-2 over the number 1 team in the nation. Set 1 in the early going. Penn State has Micah Hancock back serving Audrey, and she just has a wicked serve. What makes it so tough?
Well, what I like is her nice high toss, and she tosses it in front of her so she can leap into the court. She jumps so well, so that's a real asset too. But that left-handed swing that she has, it causes the ball to curve. It's a deadly curve, and it just comes at you so quick.
Service ace number 3 in a row for Micah Hancock.
Yeah, and the other thing is she just goes for it. She's got so much courage on the end line. That's why she is leading the Big Ten in service aces. There's her wonderful spin serve that she has.
Leads the Big Ten, also comes up in the biggest matches. She had 7 service aces against Illinois earlier this season in Rec Hall. Service ace number 4. Hancock cannot be slowed.
Yep, and you know what? It does something to your confidence when you're getting beamed. That time, it was Haley Tramer, sorry, Brookheis, who just got it in the face as she was trying to serve the ball. Her face is red. Her nose probably feels like it's on the side of her face right now.
4 aces for Hancock. We're not even 10 points into set number 1. Nebraska finally able to get a pass and a chance. Need to side out, get the ball away from Hancock. Whistle, net violation against Penn State, and Nebraska breathes a sigh of relief.
Yeah, and if you're Nebraska, when she rotates back to the service line, you have to think, I don't need to get a perfect pass. I just can't get ace, because Cook is good enough. She'll track those balls down and do something with it. So Nebraska really needs to take a deep breath when Hancock's on the service line.
That's Mancuso to serve for the Huskers. Clendon. Work with her first chance with the tip. Penn State tries to send it over, but Maddie Martin puts it into the net. An error there by Maddie Martin, and we talk about it, Audrey. 29 combined errors last night for Penn State. It's been something that's plagued them all season.
Yeah, and Nebraska will tip the ball in the backcourt to Micah Hancock. She's playing right back right now. And so when she plays the first ball, somebody else has to set it, and that makes the offense a little bit more predictable for Penn State. So that is Nebraska's game plan right now. Put the ball in Hancock's hand the first time around so she cannot set the second ball.
A couple of errors on both sides of the net for Nebraska and Penn State. So 9-4 lead in set number 1 to the Nittany Lions. National Freshman of the Year a season ago, Deja McClendon now serving for Penn State. She clips the net. Brookice now stopped by Ayanna Whitney.
Well, that was a nice block by Penn State. The middle blocker accelerating to the outside. There you see Katie Slay getting up and sealing the block, but that was all number 14, Ayanna Whitney.
Ayanna Whitney has not played in the last 2 matches, finally getting back into the rotation for Penn State. Mancuso out of the back row puts away the kill.
Now you got to keep track of where Mancuso is. Just because she's a back row player doesn't mean that Cook is going to shy away from setting her. That's in fact a position where she scores a lot out of, just right out of the middle, that pipe set coming right up the gut.
McClendon can't handle that serve, and it's out of play. Nebraska now with their second consecutive point.
Yeah, we talk about keys, and for Penn State, again, they've got to win that serve-pass battle. Passing is the key. It's the very first skill, the primary skill. And right now, McClendon's being subbed out. And number 4 right now, Dominique Gonzalez, is coming in to try and handle that serve.
Dominique Gonzalez had a nice match last night against Iowa. Some great digs, but Penn State could not finish off of her passing. Inside to Slay, a bit high for her, but she still gets the kill.
Yeah, it's super important that Slay gets involved in the offense. And she's got such a good vertical. She jumps real well. She's 6'6". Take a look at the jump. But again, there's backspin on that ball, so that's not her strongest hit. I'm sure she would like to get her whole hand on the ball instead of just her fingertips.
Communication has not been there between Micah Hancock and Katie Slay this season, as Delano there in the middle for the Huskers. Scott this time. And Penn State puts away another. We talk about the communication. Hancock has had great communication with Ariel Scott, but in the middle to Slay, it's the timing that has not been there all season.
Yeah, it's really hard. It comes with a lot of repetition. So Hancock, even though she's been the setter, for the entire season, it just takes a lot of time, and especially when you're setting such a tall player, you don't feel like you're setting a short quick. You're almost setting a 2-ball in the middle. So timing, like you said, is so important and so difficult to master.
Another kill for Ariel Scott. Hancock mentioned last night after the Iowa match that she needed to set a better ball. It was too low for Katie Slay. Another timeout for John Cook and the Huskers. Penn State up by 7 in set number 1. Nittany Lions hoping to take the first set. More from Happy Valley in a moment.